For months, French privateers have operated from a small hidden settlement along the coast, raiding British merchant shipping and supplying enemy forces throughout the region. Their success has drawn the attention of the English crown. A detachment of British regulars and sailors has been dispatched to put an end to the threat. Their orders are clear: land at dawn, destroy the settlement's stockhouse, and bring suspected collaborators before English justice. The officers leading the raid have also been granted letters of marque, allowing them to seize any French property or prize they encounter. British officers study the shoreline through spyglasses, quietly forming a plan. They see the stockhouse and pass on the location to the others. They spot traitorous citizens aiding the privateers and mark their positions. Soon the longboats will push toward shore. A French sentry scans the horizon. Suddenly he notices tall masts breaking the line of the sea. As the ship draws closer, the unmistakable colours of the English ensign snap in the wind. Realising what is coming, he shouts the warning and the alarm bell rings through the settlement. Muskets are grabbed, civilians scatter, and the defenders rush to the shoreline as British longboats begin lowering into the water. The British regulars begin climbing down the ropes into two waiting longboats, muskets slung and equipment secured for the landing. Nearby, the commander of the raid steps aboard another boat accompanied by 8 grenadiers, hand-picked for the assault. Their orders are clear: strike hard, burn the stockhouse, and bring the traitors to justice under the crown. As the longboats cut through the water, the steady beat of British drums rises across the harbour. The call to battle echoes over the surf and through the settlement, stirring the redcoats to ready themselves for the fight ahead. The rhythm carries across the water, a clear signal that the crown's soldiers are coming ashore. Muskets are checked, bayonets fixed, and the men prepare to land under the sound of the drums. With little warning, the French scramble to muster every available man. Militia, sailors, and privateers grab muskets and powder as officers shout orders across the settlement. Civilians scatter while defenders rush to the shoreline and nearby buildings, taking positions wherever they can. There will be no time for careful preparation. The redcoats are already coming ashore, and the French must stand their ground or see their settlement burned. The French seize the initiative and attempt to sight in on the English commander's longboat. Yet at that distance, the small longboat is a difficult target to sight in on. Taking advantage of their extra actions, the cannon crew begin reloading and get the cannon halfway loaded. Seeing the French privateers beginning to sight their weapons toward the approaching boats, the British captain wastes no time. Orders are shouted down the line and the rowers dig their oars deep into the water. The longboats surge forward toward the shoreline as the British push hard to close the distance, determined to maintain the initiative before the defenders can fully bring their guns to bear. Offshore, the British sloop bring their guns to bear on the settlement. Crews quickly sight in on the shoreline and the clustered buildings beyond. With a sharp command, the guns fire. A thunderous volley rolls across the harbour as smoke billows over the water. The range is misjudged. The balls tear past the beach and slam harmlessly into the ground beyond the settlement. The crew set up for another volley and reload. The longboat farthest to the left of the landing line swings slightly toward the shore. As the crew lines up their swivel gun, the gunner steadies the small cannon, sights in on a group of defenders along the beach. The swivel cracks loudly, sending its shot toward the shoreline as smoke curls from the muzzle, but to no effect. They are behind the rocks. They use this time to load the cannon again. seeing the British boats angling toward the right side of the settlement. The French militia quickly realise where the landing will likely take place. As the smoke from the swivel gun clears, the filibustiers spot the longboat that fired upon them. Shouting to one another, they quickly shoulder their guns and take aim at the approaching boat. A moment later, a sharp volley cracks across the beach as the privateers unleash their rifles toward the boat, hoping to slow the British advance before the landing can begin. But the longboats are still too far out. The shots fall short, splashing harmlessly into the water as the British continue rowing toward shore. The filibustiers quickly begin reloading their rifles. On the left flank, the buccaneers steady their muskets and take aim at the approaching longboat. They fire a sharp volley. But once again, the longboats remain just beyond their effective range, and the shots fall short. Knowing they will likely be hanged for aiding the French, several civilians gather their courage and begin moving toward the fight. The British rowers dig their oars deep into the water, pulling as hard as they can and driving the longboat steadily toward the beach. The British regulars in the lead longboat spot where the buccaneers' last volley came from along the dock and quickly swing the swivel gun toward the position, taking careful aim. The smoke clears and the shot appears to land on target, but the buccaneers shake off the dust and emerge unharmed. The British regulars in the rear of the longboat raise their muskets and unleash a volley toward the buccaneers. The English drill kicks in, and they unleash a hellstorm of musket balls toward the buccaneers. The expert drill pays off. The volley shakes the defenders, leaving them visibly unnerved, and one traitor falls lifeless on the dock. Seeing the buccaneers beginning to falter, the French commander orders nearby units to reload and quickly moves toward the dock to steady them with his presence. Behind the rocks, the filibustiers quickly load powder and ball into their muskets. Taking aim toward the approaching boats, they shoulder their guns and unleash a volley. The ball and shot strike the boat, but no one is mortally wounded. The hit slows the British slightly, and the filibustiers quickly begin reloading after the volley. The British regulars in the rear of the left longboat take aim at the nearest defenders. Raising their muskets, they fire a sharp volley toward the shore. Their aim is off, and the volley strikes nothing as the shots sail wide of the defenders. They reload with the last action. The British rowers dig their oars deep into the water, pulling hard in steady rhythm as the longboats surge forward. Spray kicks up along the hulls as they drive toward the shoreline, determined to close the distance and reach land before the defenders can stop them. The British commander barks orders across the boats, directing nearby units to reload and prepare for landfall. Turning to the grenadiers beside him, he orders them to make ready and take aim at the defenders along the shoreline. The grenadiers' discipline shows as they fire. Their volley cracks across the water with deadly accuracy, the shot striking true along the shoreline and forcing the defenders to duck for cover. 3 men are gone. Rallied by the exchange of fire, the buccaneers beside the filibustiers quickly ready their muskets. They take aim toward the boat carrying the grenadiers and unleash a sharp volley across the water. One of the rounds finds its mark, the shot striking home with powder and ball. The shot lands among the grenadiers, leaving the unit visibly shaken for a moment. The British press forward, the longboats cutting steadily toward the beach as the rowers keep their rhythm. Along the shore, the defenders brace themselves and prepare for the coming landing. Seizing the initiative, the British sloop brings her guns to bear, carefully sighting in on the defender's lone cannon, guarding the settlement. The crew push to fire with haste, taking on fatigue as they rush the shot in an effort to silence the gun before the landing begins. The smoke clears and they see they missed. The landing parties waste no time, the crews digging their oars into the water as the boats press steadily toward the shore. The French commander activates and passes orders to rally the filibusters. With his inspiring presence, they regain some confidence and prepare for the coming landing. He quickly signals to the cannon crew, ordering them to reload and prepare the gun for another shot. Peering through the palms, the commander catches sight of the bright redcoats of the landing crew and quickly orders his men to take aim and fire. But the shots only strike the boat and hit nothing. The men quickly begin reloading their rifles in preparation for the next volley. The British regulars draw a spade, quickly reloading their muskets before levelling them toward the filibusters on the dock and firing. The British regulars lay down a wall of fire into the defenders. As the smoke drifts away, two Frenchmen can be seen lying lifeless on the dock. Seeing two of their countrymen fall, the filibusters panic. Shaken by the volley, they turn and run from the fight in blind panic and flee from the dock. Drawn to the firing, the French cannon crew target the boat that just unleashed the volley. The vessel is perfectly lined up bow to stern, giving them a devastating raking shot. The crew takes aim and fires. The cannonball strikes true, tearing the boat apart. When the smoke clears, nothing remains but floating debris. The cannon crew take no time to celebrate and start to reload. The British regulars activate and continue their advance toward the dock, preparing to disembark. The longboat slams against the dock as the British regulars jump out and begin the assault. They level their muskets at the filibusters behind the rocks and fire a volley. The volley drops one of the filibusters. The lone Frenchman, shaken by the loss, panics and flees from the fight. The civilians decide to take the fight to the English, lining up a shot with their assorted weapons. The civilians strike true, killing one of the regulars. The British commander activates and shouts out orders. First, he tells the regulars who just fired to reload. He then orders the regulars still in the boat to move forward and join the fight. He orders the grenadiers out of the boat, sending them to flank the defenders behind the rocks. The commander spends his fortune to ensure the shots land, but the French manage to save most of them. In the end, only one Frenchman is slain.
Make ready! Present!
Due to their discipline, they shake off one fatigue and are ready for the fight. They use their last action to half-load their muskets. The French buccaneers activate and rally, shedding one fatigue. They then level their rifles at the British grenadiers. Spending a fortune in an attempt to bring down the veteran unit, they manage to kill only one grenadier. They reload with their last action. The lone filibuster rallies, steadying himself so he can remain in the fight. The two filibusters on the dock follow suit, rallying in an attempt to steady themselves and return to the fight. The final British unit activates and moves forward with their single action, grabbing one of the collaborators. The other French filibusters activate and move toward the fight. They push themselves to move even farther, gaining a fatigue from the effort. The final French militia unit follows suit, running toward the sound of the fighting. The English are forced to take a strike test, but the fight continues. Scanning the battlefield as the dust and smoke begin to settle, it seems the British may be on the back foot. While they were able to land troops and begin their assault on the dock, the defenders have fought back fiercely. A landing boat was destroyed by the French cannon, several British soldiers have fallen, and the defenders are beginning to rally and push back into the fight. The English seize the initiative and activate their commander. He quickly shouts out orders, first directing the regulars to reload, then ordering another unit to take aim and fire on the civilian mob.
Make ready!
At close range, the regulars' muskets are devastating and the civilians stand little chance. Two civilians are killed immediately, and the rest flee the fight shaken. The English commander points toward the French filibusters and orders the grenadiers forward to charge. Just before the grenadiers reach melee, the filibusters draw the pistols hanging from their chests and unleash a brace of pistol shots. But the grenadiers come out unscathed and are now able to unleash their bayonets on the French. The grenadiers press the attack, and the British even spend a fortune to try and land the blows. But the French filibusters save every strike, leaving both sides locked in a deadly stalemate. The filibusters activate and counterattack, unleashing shot after shot from their pistols. Using a dedicated action, they attempt to pour as much fire as possible into the veteran grenadiers. The remaining British regulars escort one of the captured civilians, intended to be tried by the British Crown, back to the longboat for transfer. The French commander activates and moves forward, preparing to join the fight. He points toward the British regulars and orders his men to take aim. His men's mark is true, and they strike two of the redcoats down. The commander finishes his actions by issuing orders. He directs the buccaneers to reload and then commands the filibusters to attack again, despite it pushing them to the max of 2 fatigue after already fighting. They pull out their pistols once more and attack the grenadiers. Another grenadier falls, and the unit is forced to rout from the combat after becoming shaken. The last British regular unit activates and advances toward the filibusters to aid their commander in the fight. They take aim and release a volley toward the enemy. The volley drops one of the Frenchmen, leaving the unit shaken and forcing them to retreat from the fight. Unaware of the losses among the British troops ashore, the sloop's crew continues reloading the cannons. The French militia activate and move quickly toward the retreating English commander, hoping to get a shot at him. Peering through the trees and brush, the militia spot the English commander retreating from the fight. Catching glimpses of the redcoat moving through the foliage, they steady their weapons and take careful aim. When the smoke clears, they see no more movement from the unit, only dead British soldiers lying on the ground. With their commander slain and their ranks broken, the British are forced to strike their colours. The remaining soldiers begin falling back toward the shoreline. abandoning the assault as they retreat to their boats. One by one, the redcoats pull away from the dock and slip back out to sea, leaving the battered battlefield and the victorious defenders behind.